a jack of all trades. Also renowned for her powerful voice, practical insights, and a transformational approach. Her name is Sarah, and Sarah continues to shape leadership conversations and drive impact across Africa and the global stage. So tonight she'll be bringing the same energy for us. So please help me welcome her with some virtual round of applause. Karibu sana, Sarah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate Sheila, Skylar. Thank you so much for the invite. I really, truly appreciate. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night from wherever you're joining us from. I'm very excited to engage in my pet subject, public speaking. Very happy to see Lynette, Prince, Bronze, Norbert, Caroline Modoni, Maya, Vivo, V24, Ismail, Juma Samuel, Nancy, you are welcome. So I want to say that I don't know how long we go. This is usually 1 hour, right? Sheila?
Yes. You can do 45 minutes and then 5 minutes for Q&A at the end.
Okay, yes, very good. Yeah, it's good that I know that. I want to say that each one of us here has a story. Your life is a story. Whatever you've gone through is a story that can change the world. And so it matters how you say it, and your story needs a voice. Your story needs a voice, and it matters how you say it. I have seen brilliant people lose opportunities just because somebody didn't have the confidence to explain or to just articulate what they have, or even having the confidence to say, okay, these are the skills I have and they are fit for this job. Because you see, even if it's a situation of maybe you're in a job interview, you have about 5 panelists interviewing you, because I see at JCVs, we do help you, with interviews and all of that. When you're facing a panel of 5 people, 3 people, sometimes 7 people, right there, you're in a situation of public speaking. And so I've seen people actually lose opportunities. We called you for the interview because you are very qualified. You're very qualified, but you couldn't express that, couldn't bring that out. And so you have to watch the opportunity go to somebody else who maybe they were not as qualified as you, but they had the confidence to speak out and to express themselves well. And so public speaking is an important tool for you as a professional. If you're here as a professional, you're here, maybe you are at a situation where you are looking for an opportunity, you are in between jobs, or you're here, you're an entrepreneur, you are here, you're a leader, you're a leader in the society. It doesn't matter, you're a student. This is a skill of life that you need. Now, how do we amplify our voice to tell our story so that we can transform or change the world? That's where public speaking comes in. I want to say that public speaking is an art. It's not a matter of standing before people and saying something. It's an art. And that's why you find one person will stand to speak, and we all want to listen. We are excited. There was even some murmuring and mumbling in the crowd, but the moment you started speaking, the moment you started speaking with power. You are excited, Lynette. All of a sudden we pay attention. Somebody is on stage. You commanded the attention. We are listening. You got us. And another person starts to speak, and we're like, where are you? Amalize, aende. Amalize, aende. People are just walking in and out, and it can be a very embarrassing situation. So public speaking is an art. How do we master this art so that we can express ourselves, we can be able to express ourselves much better, and even be able to get the opportunities that we need. I want to say that there are three things that we look at. They're very, very, very important. When it comes to public speaking, we have what we call the science of public speaking. The science is the what. What will I say? I've written a book in public speaking called Master the Art of Public Speaking, Find Your Voice in Half the World. And I say in this book, you cannot communicate without a message. You cannot communicate without a message. That's a science. So the science is the what will I say? And then we have what we call the art of public speaking. The art is the how do you say it? The science is the what, the art is the how. Two people can make the same presentation, but one is more interesting than the other because of the art. And then the other thing we have to look at is the mind, because the mind, when we say we have the fear of public speaking, where does it reside? Right here. And when we say we are building confidence, where are we building confidence? It's right here in the mind. So we have to look at the mind as well when we're looking at public speaking. So I want to submit to you that every person on earth is a public speaker. If you have ever spoken before three people is a crowd. But when most of the time you find that you're speaking, these are strangers, there were 10 people, the expectation, will I meet the expectation? Now the fear sets in. So the act of speaking to a live audience, that is public speaking. I love this quote here this is my mentor, John C. Maxwell. Public speaking is the leader's primary instrument of influence. And I believe if you're here, you're a leader. Yeah, you are a leader, because if you are able to lead yourself, then you can lead others. So that's your primary instrument of influence. Very, very important. So let me see. Okay. Now looking at this audience here, and by the way, let me know if you have any questions. You can be putting on the chat there. Be putting on the chat any comments, questions, interventions. Let me know. Now, when you look at this audience here, how would you describe them? How would you describe this audience? Just put it on the comment section, or you can just unmute and say something.
I think for the first picture is board, leafy.
Yeah. People are just asleep. Prince, when you look at this audience, what do you see? What about the mind? No, the mind, I'm saying the mind, we have to look at the mind, because the fear and confidence resides there. So I was speaking about what encompasses public speaking. People are bored, detached, they're just wondering. You know, now, as a public speaker, whenever you're telling a story, you're giving a speech, you're making an introduction, whatever you're doing, but you're speaking in public, and you see the audience looking like this, maybe you are 15 minutes in, bronze. You are 20 minutes into your presentation, and the audience is looking like this. I'm sorry to say, but as a speaker, we have failed somewhere. As a speaker, we have failed, and we shouldn't continue. Anytime you see an audience like this, you shouldn't continue. We need to break this energy, because to be honest, you're on your own on stage. People are disconnected, detached. So we need to either, tell people, can we stand up, just do an icebreaker. We need to do an icebreaker. Can we go for a 5 minutes break? We need to break this kind of energy. We cannot continue. Sometimes you can be called to speak and you find people are just this is the mood. This is the mood you found people in. So maybe it was not your fault. And you shouldn't continue. You even greeted people, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You barely had a response. You don't continue if you didn't hear a response. Make sure they respond. Because by the time you say, hey, Kwani, you didn't hear, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now they are going to respond. Now you caught their attention, but we cannot just proceed and you never had any response. This is a speaker's worst nightmare, and we'll see how we make sure we never have to see this kind of an audience. I'm moving forward. Let me quit the presentation mode. Now, let me know, what do you see? What do you see in this audience? How would you describe this audience? They're very excited, they are engaged. Of course, I mean, people are, you know what, this is your kind of audience. This is your kind of audience. Every time you speak, Patricia, trust me, you're doing better. If you're seeing people are smiling, they feel it was worth it listening to Linda. Oh, Madam, I'm your mic, you know, that's a good thing. Why are they happy? They are happy because I love this scripture here. Those people may forget what you did. They may forget what you said, but people never forget how you made them feel. So when you speak to us, how did you make us feel? Because at the end of the day, we are all emotional beings. You can speak very eloquently about something you are saying, some high, nice things, but you made us feel like we don't deserve, we don't belong, or you just didn't give us hope. One of the ways you can actually make dignified people, make people feel happy and good and important, is that you give them hope. I want to say that every public speaker is a dealer in hope. Your story should give hope. Whether you're speaking about climate change, you're preaching, you're speaking about faith, or you're speaking about the economy, you're speaking about elections, you're speaking whatever you're speaking about, make sure it's giving hope. One thing that is deficient, if that's good English, in the world, one thing we have deficiency of in the world is hope. Today, I want to assure you, Joachim, if you went and told the president, yeah, that Mr. President, I have an idea or I have a plan of how we can be able to produce 7,000 jobs. We can be able to create 7,000 jobs in 6 months. Oh my God, you have no idea what he's listening. You just got his ear. You just got his ear. You're giving him hope. Everybody needs hope. So as you speak, even if the situation is so bad, even if your story is taking us somewhere to a valley, you're showing us the the dangers of the boy child, how the boy child is lost in alcohol and all of these things, maybe in a certain part of the country, in Mombasa. You're giving us those damning statistics. Fine. Take us there, take us to the valley, but you can't leave us there. It's like you're speaking to us about the economy, unasema na economy ya Kenya sahii hata mnaona mafuta penye imefika ni mbaya guys. Sahizi kila mtu everybody for himself, God for us, and then you just finish your speech there. Where have you left? You left us at the valley. Our hearts are downcast. We feel like there's no hope. I mean, tell us, yeah, that's how it is, but there's hope. We've gotten out of worse situations than that. Give us hope. Then after giving us a problem statement, telling us, your story is taking us to some, to those places. You're showing us the state of the boy child in Kenya, the state of the boy child in Zambia, the state of the girl child, and then from there, the rest of your speeches after telling us the problem state is now, it must take us to the mountaintop. Take us up to the mountaintop with hope. Leave us there with hope. Your story must give hope. Now, I want to say that there are three key things that are very, very important when it comes to public speaking. Actually, public speaking, is about these three things. And if we can cover this, we've done it. We are home and dry. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this in a session like this 1 hour. I can assure you there's more we can talk about, but I'll try my best Number one, how do you build a message for any audience? So how do we make sure your story is relevant to, you're speaking to teens, it's relevant to them. Your story is relevant to, maybe you're speaking to women. How your story is relevant to, maybe it's a corporate setup. So you have business people, entrepreneurs. You are in the midst of entrepreneurs. How is the story relevant to them? How do you make sure that this story is relevant to, maybe you're speaking to senior citizens? How do they relate with your story? Yeah. So how do you build a message for any audience? Look, your message, or then let me call it your story, is what gives you the right to stand before us. If you don't have something to say, don't say it. So do you have a message, and how well have you familiarized yourself with your message? Okay, that's the first thing. We have a message. The second thing we need is confidence, because you can have a message, you have a story, but you don't have the confidence to tell it, and that's a problem right there. We don't have the confidence to tell the story. And then number three, we have the confidence. Let's say we have the confidence, but then maybe we didn't deliver it in an impactful way. It was boring. For lack of a better word. If Penina, we had you are speaking, you are in a panel. Mulikuwa panel pale mbele. Do we remember Penina spoke? How impactful was Penina? How impactful was Edgar? Do we remember what Linda said? So how do we deliver powerfully and impactfully so that you're actually memorable? If you can be memorable, you can be impactful, you can be influential. How do we deliver in style? These three things encompass public speaking. Build a message. How do you build a message for any audience? And by the way, that's why you find people don't want, those impromptu moments, because I don't know what to say. I don't have a message. What do you mean I speak? Build a confidence. You're calling. I also don't have the confidence. Even if I have a message, confidence in. Yeah, and also how do I deliver powerfully? If we can cover that, we are doing very well. I'm sure you know this great man. Um, Let me know that you know him. Put it in the comment section. But I want to submit to you that every great man or woman that you know was made by a speech that they made. They had a story, they told it out, they spoke it out, and that's how you know them. Okay, let me see. Of course. That's Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was made by a speech he made when he left Rhodes Island. For 20, he had been in prison for 27 years, and he made a speech, and that's a speech that made Mandela. Mention who are the other great orators you can think of in the world. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King is known, his signature speech, I Have a Dream. I mean, he gave many other speeches, but we remember him for that. Now, what he was doing was very important. He was fighting for the rights of the Black people in the Americas in the 1960s and the 1950s. But we remember him, like that was great, but we remember him for a speech. If you ask many people how they know him, they'll tell you is, that I have a dream. Okay. Somebody? You can mention who else, who are the other great, mention any great man. Barack Obama. Yeah, you're right, sir. Barack Obama was made by a speech he made in 2004 in Washington. I think that time he was running for Senate or something. Yeah, and people are like, Americans were like, oh, we have something here. That's a speech that made him. Even Jesus Christ himself. The moment he made the speech on the Sermon on the Mount, and people are like, wait a minute, our rabbis don't speak like that. Even the prophets never spoke like that. Even John the Baptist doesn't speak with authority. And from that time, they followed the man. They followed him everywhere. So even for you, I assure you, you will be made by a speech that you made. And it has happened already. Maybe it's a job somewhere you spoke, you presented yourself so well. And we were so impressed. You left us impressed. Public speaking has the power of turning a common man into a statesman. or a stateswoman. So we want to make sure in this session and in the few minutes we have, we can create as many statespeople, statesmen and women as we are. I want to ask us, um, who do you think is the most powerful person in any room? In any room, who do you think is the most? Yes, PLO, Lumumba, all of them. I mean, we know them for speeches that they have. Okay. Who do you think is the most powerful person in any room, including this room, because we are in one? Who is the most powerful person? Any room you find yourself in. It's not a trick question. It's a very straightforward question, guys. It's a very, very straightforward question. Okay, let me see. We have one response. Me and you. The one leading the conversation. Good. The one who commands the tension. Uh-huh. You're right. The silent majority. The silent majority. Yeah, they are silent. The silence is too loud. The most powerful. Thank you so much for those responses. The most powerful person in the room is the person with the microphone. You know, we say the most dangerous weapon in the world is not nuclear. It's not an atomic. It's not nuclear. It's a microphone. Because the moment you wield that machine, or you are the one speaking, the most powerful person in any room is the person speaking. It's not the host. It's not the convener. It's not the chairperson. It's the person speaking, because at that time you have assumed a position of influence. Every public speaker is an influencer. You are at a position where you can influence minds, you can shape ideas. If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. So how do we make sure that your story influences and can change lives through public speaking? I want to say that the fear of public speaking, because I know this is one of the questions that I get most. The fear of public speaking is called glossophobia. It is classified as a social anxiety disorder, but of course you can't treat it medically. But I do know a friend who knew he's going to make a huge presentation. Then he went to get, the evening before, he went to get some antidepressant. And I think he knows what he knows because he never even made that presentation. This is just something we need to deal with in the mind, because we said fear resides here and confidence resides here. We build it here. Now, why is public speaking important? One, because you can communicate more confidently. When you master this skill, you can be able to tell your story confidently. You can introduce yourself confidently. And this is what I realized, even in a situation of interview, because I also do interviews a lot. We do interviews for companies and organizations, we do recruitments. And I always see this, the moment you make the first mistake, whether it's the introduction, the first 3 minutes you didn't ace it, I mean, the rest of it, we can tell how the rest of the conversation or the speech will go. Because now you're anxious, you're shaking, you can tell that you've made 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, and now you lose faith in yourself completely. Now you make every mistake in the book, and by the time you're leaving that room, you already know is one. Do you know, by the way, every time you speak in public, you always know how you've done. If you hit it, whether it was a hit or a miss, you always know. You don't need anybody to tell you, oh, that was great. You know, because you can feel it. Huh? The joy of being able to express yourself exactly the way you wanted. The points that you wanted to say, they came out even better than you had planned. You feel so good. You feel so empowered. You feel so good about yourself. And then sometimes you're going to sit down and you're feeling, oh my God, I forgot all the important point. I should have said this. I should have said that. I should have mentioned this. And it's so unsettling. You can express yourself better. You can influence decisions, because we have said if you can speak, you can influence. And if you can influence, you can change lives. You can easily assume leadership. The language of leadership is communication. You cannot lead well if you cannot communicate well, and especially if you cannot communicate well in public. You know, in leadership, in for people to elect you as a leader, now in elective leadership, people have considered your ability to articulate yourself well, tell a story well, to tell a narrative well, you know, to articulate it well. And you have told yourself, yeah, yeah, she can represent me. He can speak for me because, you know, they can tell your oratory skills are good. People consider that whether they know they're doing it or not, they always consider that. You can easily assume leadership. Of course, you can increase your chances for opportunity or business. So I want to say these are very important things. As a speaker, you have three jobs. As a speaker, you have three jobs. Number one, you have the job of getting into the message. Okay, fine. It's your story. You own it. It's fine. But let it be backed by data facts if possible. Let it be backed by that. So you're thoroughly prepared. Research if you need to research. Thoroughly prepare research for your message. Very, very important. Get into the message. Number two, get the message into you. Now, this is where we internalize. Internalize the message. Rehearse. You internalize during rehearsals. Do you know, anytime you rehearse something, maybe you are going to speak or you're going to sing and you rehearse, what happens? Your performance or your presentation is usually much better than if you never rehearsed. So it's the same with speaking. And I always say, please do it even behind a mirror. I mean, in front, not behind, but in front of a mirror. Put a mirror in front of you and start speaking. Start speaking, because this is what happens. You are going to correct yourself. You find, oh, I can't say that statement like that. I need to at least smile. I need to have a warmer face. I think I'm too quiet. I think I need to gesturize. You start to correct yourself. Yeah, get the message into you, internalize the message so that when you speak, we can tell this message is coming from the heart. It's oozing. This is not lip service. This is a heart matter, and it's heart matters that touch hearts. The message and the messenger are one. Then get the message to the audience and be seated. Get the message to the audience because that's why you are doing this. Deliver the message to the audience in the way the intended message is from and be seated. You're done. Get into the message, get the message into you, get the message to the audience. You realize the first two parts is just preparation. Preparation is everything. And let me tell you, one of the things that takes away the fear is that I'm prepared. I know what to say. I did the work. That alone takes away 70% of the fear. If you've ever been called to present and you're feeling that anxiety that, yeah, you're breathing hard. Yeah. If you are really, really very well prepared, 70%, I would say so, not all of it, but at least 70% of that fear dissipates. It goes away because when I'm called, I know what to say. Let them call me. I'm going to raise two issues. Yeah. So, Agnes, we are in a staff meeting. Agnes, you have something to say? Yeah, actually, I have two concerns. Yeah, and that's sharp. That's sharp. And we listen to you. Nerea, you have something to say? Actually, one point, sir. I was commenting about, yeah, I have something to say, and that's powerful. Now, when you're going to speak, the first thing you need to do, you have a story, you have a speech, you have a presentation, you have what do you have? You need to ask yourself, you need to consider these five things. Number one is, what will I say? What will I say? And it's called the KYC number one, know your content. When people are listening to you, by the way, they want to hear two things. One, what do you know? Two, how much of it do you know? In this day in age, also, this is the digital age, guys. Whatever you're saying, we can also chat GPT. We can also just, it's the influx of information everywhere, it's explosion of information everywhere. So also, you can't be speaking about common knowledge. You're telling us things that we all know. Cliche. People want to know, what do you know? How much of it do you know? And so that's why I'm saying preparation is very important. Master your content. important. And also speak authentically, own up the message, put in your own personality. Yeah. KYC number one. Number two, it's called the KYC number two, know your customer. Like I said, you can have a certain story, but you're telling it to children. So there's a way you need to tell it to children for you to be relatable and for you to make sense and for you to be impactful. You're speaking to a mixed audience. So you need to give examples to everybody, with everybody, youth, the challenges of youth. So you're bringing it, you're bringing in examples that are relatable to youth, to everybody in the audience. You're speaking to lawyers. There's an expert audience. How do I make this speech or this story make sense to this kind of an expert audience? Speaking to a group of doctors, speaking to economists, you're speaking to like that. You need to make sure that we are relevant. That is, we are using relevant examples. For example, if you're speaking to a group of economists right now and you're speaking about the fuel hike in Kenya, now you're very relevant. You're speaking about some, current issues. You're very relevant now to that kind of an audience. Why are you speaking? That's the other thing. That's the intention. Why are you speaking? Must you speak? Why are you speaking? That's where now we get to see the passion. And of course, where are you telling the message? You need to consider what's the context you're speaking. Are you speaking in a happy, celebratory kind of an event? Because why are you too gloomy? It's a graduation. Come on, it's a wedding or it's a, but sometimes, God forbid, maybe it's a funeral. Like, why are we too happy? Yeah. It's not like we should be crying, but there's that sober mood. We need to know what's the context? What's the channel? Is it online? Is it physical? We need to know that. Are you speaking on TV? And the last one here is, when are you speaking? The timing. You also need to know the timing, because imagine, Charity, you are invited to speak. It's a full day conference. You're invited to speak at 4:30. What will make it about the whole day? And you're being called to speak at 4:30. Those people are tired. So we can't go there and start saying, so guys, my name is Charity Getao. I am very happy to be speaking at this time, and in the next 45 minutes we'll be looking. We just got tired. The audience just got, so at that time, when you call at that time, because maybe people are a bit, people are a bit tired, they've been there the whole day. Now you're saying, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Actually, in the next few minutes, you're still gonna do your 30 minutes, but you see, the psychology, you've managed us a little bit when you say, in the next few minutes, I just want to look at the very, very few points, just 3 points. But these 3 points, you're gonna extrapolate them for a whole 30 minutes. But somehow you've managed, the timing matters. Sometimes you're called to speak before lunch. Or even just the program was late, so you're being called to speak at around 1:10, and then we going there, we are taking all the time. So we need to even the timing. There's a time to say something. Okay, the timing matters. So I want to say this: please over prepare. Anytime you're speaking, please over prepare. I'd rather you run out of time than you run out of content. And I was speaking of preparation. It's very important, so that now, if Pauline, you are called to speak for, maybe you are given 20 minutes, and then that's what is on the program. And then come the very day of the meeting, you are told, Madam Pauline, 3 minutes. Wewe na slide zako, 15. What do you do with 5 minutes? But you're not even worried, because you know your content so well. So you know all the high notes you need to hit in your 5 minutes, and you bam, 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 and you're done. And you basically compressed that whole speech in 5 minutes. You know your content so well, Pauline, that since you are given 20 minutes, you are done with your 20 minutes, you have spoken, you're done with your 20 minutes, and then MC akakuja akakwambia, just give me anafuata, you are not worried. Yeah, bring it on. Now you're even very happy because there's a point you are not really, brought it home well. We go back there. You are prepared. Always over prepare. You will always be safe and you will not have them fear. Now, when you're speaking, I want to say, because I saw, you see, we have 3 or so minutes. So how do we overcome the fear and anxiety? Because sometimes, you have a wonderful, fantastic story, but we are out of breath. So what do we do? I want to say, first of all, that it's not whether you're nervous, it's whether you show it. So please don't show it. You see, we are thinking Kajokas. We are thinking there's a reason as to why it's Kajo invited to speak and not me. They must have gotten the right person. So, as the audience, I'm rooting for you until you showed us that you don't trust, you're not confident. And now, because you don't look confident, you are obviously standing in front of us, you are obviously shaking, you can't even look at us, your eyes keep dilating. We can see the microphone is shaking, the voice is shaking. Now, until you showed us that you're not confident, so we are also not confident because the audience mimics your energy. It's gonna mimic you. So it's not whether you're nervous, it's whether you show it. So please don't show it. Two, you need to know that nobody knows you have the fear. Just don't show it at all. Don't show it. So how do we overcome the fear and anxiety? So in 3 minutes, one, please be mentally prepared. Mental preparation. Where am I telling this story? Who am I meeting? How many are they? Because Justus Wadera. Justus is here. Justus Wadera. You are speaking to people that you don't even know how many they are. You are prepared to speak to, in your mind, you are thinking it's going to be 30 people. And then on the very day, you find, oh, it's a whole 100 of them. Trust me, there, right there, you are in mental shock. And by the time you recover, it might be too late. So you find you're messing, because you are trying to, your mind is still coming into 100 people and you're expecting 20 people. Mental preparation is very important. So if possible, even ask the person inviting you, how many, watakuwa wangapi, if possible. And then the other thing, please don't be late. Wherever you're going to speak, you're invited to speak, you can't even be on time, because why are you on time? Be there before the time. Get into the moment. You saw how the room filled. You were greeting people. You got into the moment. You are mentally prepared. Yeah, it really helps in building confidence and even overcoming that fear and anxiety. But if you just walk in, you just walk in like that to find people goal 200 and you're expecting 20, you are in a mental shock. You have an imbalance. You're not at your best at that time. You may not do your best too. Please dress for the occasion. Dress for the occasion, because there's a way you feel when you're dressed, when you're in a suit. You're like, Leo, I need a state house, because you feel confident. There's a way you dress and you feel confident, and there's a way you dress and you feel Leo hata sitaki kukutana na mtu ananijua. So dress for the occasion. Mind the way you look, because you are what we see. And then also, Heather, you see, when you're standing in front of us, trust me, we are visual beings. We are looking at you. We are looking at your hair. We are looking at your shoes. We are looking at everything. We are judging you. we are so it's we are judging you, because that's what we do. We are looking at you and we're wondering, do you look like what you're talking about? You're talking about deals of 10 million. Do you look like that? Do you look like 10 million? That's what we are looking at. So make sure you look the part. Dress for the occasion, whatever occasion it is, so that in your mind, you're not thinking, oh my God, are they looking at my shoes? Are they looking at my shirt? Are they looking at what are they looking at? Because now you're very distracted, and if you're distracted, that's where you start making every mistake in the book. And then please eliminate the fear of rejection by positive affirmations. Before you speak, you're gonna tell your story. You need to condition your mind for success. Before you speak, there's only one thought you need to have. It's gonna be successful. It's gonna be awesome. I'll see people clapping. People will be excited. People will be, because if you start thinking, oh my God, my boss is there. Oh my God, I messed up last time. Ooh, Oh my God, oh my God. We are going to mess up exactly like last time because you've already conditioned your mind for failure, like last time. So eliminate the fear of rejection. Start speaking power again and verbalize it because your mind needs to hear it. You know, I'm an excellent speaker. It's gonna be amazing. You know, I'll speak with impact. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Even David, I like using that example. He said, I have killed a bear and I have killed a lion. And you know, of course, he was telling that to King Saul, but his mind needed to hear that. I have killed a bear, I have killed a lion. Even this Philistine, I'm going to slay it. So somehow it's you tell something to the brain that hey, I'm capable. It's possible. And I've even done this before. You're just encouraging yourself in the Lord. We need that at that point. Then speak about topics you're very, very passionate about. I don't know what story you're telling, but you need to be passionate about it. Why? Because fear and passion can't live in the same room. This guy, I just realized, I just saw that he has been arrested. He's been jailed for 5 years. This is a opposition leader in South Africa, Julius Malema. But I love him as a speaker because he speaks very passionately. If you look at him right now, you can see he has put his mind, body, soul, every fiber of his being is communicating the message of his lips, the gesture, the facial expressions, the body language. I want to hear what he's saying right now. You can see the life in the message. When you speak, we have no idea, Rhoda, where we caught the fire. Who made it when Rhoda spoke? Because you spoke with fire. Because passion is life. Passion is not something to say. People come for interviews and say, oh, my name is Sarah Muni. I'm very passionate about accounting. Believe accounting. Yeah, there's no passion there. Actually, we don't even believe in it. And that's the end of that interview. Not interview, but that's the end of that opportunity. That is, we are going to listen to you. We're going to give you your time, but that's the end of that opportunity. If there's no passion, there's no life, there's no energy. Passion is not something to be said. It is something to be seen, to be felt, to be touched. So speak with passion because you believe in what you're saying and because you've owned up your story. I know that I know that I know. Passion. So my question to you is, what are you passionate about? Exactly. Fear and passion can't live in the same room. That's very, very true. Hey, I need to finish now. Speak about topics you're very, very passionate about. And also, so, okay, let me say this. Sometimes maybe you're making a, it's about you're speaking about a project. Yeah. So maybe there are those conversations we can say, I don't think we can be able to say I'm passionate about this. Maybe you're giving a vote of thanks. Maybe you are. For me, the most important thing is, do you believe what you're saying? Maybe you're saying, oh, we're going to be able to complete or finish this project in the next 2 months. Or do you believe what you're saying? Whatever you're saying, do you believe it? If you believe it, the energy will be authentic. It will be authentic. It will be powerful. Number 5, please start strong. I think I'm going to end on this one. Please start strong. If you want to overcome the fear and anxiety, please have a bold start, whether it's a powerful question and you have already organized it in your mind before you take that microphone. You have already planned it. We are not thinking about things when we are there. After saying, good morning, everyone, thank you very much for the, that's when you're thinking. No, you have a strong start because when you start, you always know the first 3 minutes when you start speaking, that's the make or break. We know if the audience know if they want to continue listening to you or not. But when you start strong, you had the audience responded, you started with a powerful question. Ladies and gentlemen, how many have ever seen a red cow or a green cow? Let me see by a show of hands. And people are, there's that conversation of green cow, green cow. People are responding. People heard, they are responding. You feel powerful. But if you just started, so thank you so much, there's no engagement at all, nothing. and you start wondering, are we together? Can they hear me? That's why you find speakers asking, are we together? Are we together? Because they know we are not together. Start with a powerful question, a bold statement, a short story. A strong start builds immediate momentum. And if you even, when you hear people respond, you connected with them from the very onset. You ask the question, even saying something as simple as God is good all the time, God is good. Yeah, that. Even if you had some anxiety, it dissipates. It goes because I feel like we're having a conversation. Let me say this as I finish. As a speaker, you don't want to give a speech, by the way. You want to have a conversation, and you are doing better with the conversation. If you never engage the audience at all in your 30 minutes, there's no engagement. I know right here, I'm not able to engage much because our time is really out. But if you never engage, you're speaking, you have a crowd in a hall and you're speaking, and for 30 minutes, you start feeling uneasy. Like, I've talked too much. You start, now you're doubting yourself, and now you're distracted. So you are doing better with a conversation. That's why we say ask a question, engage people, go all the way to Caroline. Caroline, what do you think about this? What would you have done if you're in this situation like that? The second thing, as a speaker, you don't want an audience. You want participants, an audience. Watu wamekuangalia hivi with blank faces. It messes you up. You want to have conversations. You want to have participants. You're doing better with participants. That's why you find the president during the national holidays, he'll give the big speech, the big long speech. But he can't end with that speech. He has to end on a note of sasa mnataka ni porojo kama wengine ama tufanye maendeleo. Fanye maendeleo. Fanye kazi pamoja ama ndio mtengano. Because he knows he's doing better with that conversation with participants. That's how we know we are together. That's how we know you had me. So as a speaker, engage the audience. And also it's helping you. If you have the anxiety, it helps you to get rid of it. The last point I'll say here is please build momentum. Build momentum. Take as many opportunities as you can to speak in public, to tell your story, because you're building the muscle of confidence. You need to build that muscle of confidence. Take as many opportunities as you can, because David said, I told you, David said, I have killed a bear, I have killed a lion. That is, I have fought many small battles before. It is easy to tell the mind that I spoke to 40 people last week. That day walikuwa kama ambao hiyo siku nyingine they were 100 people, even this 200, I'll make it. It's easy to tell the mind that, but if we always decline opportunities, nani ataombesha? Wewe unaweza ombesha tu vizuri, but you know, I mean, surely experts so you keep declining, you build the muscle of fear. And now, even when an opportunity comes and you really need to stand up and speak up for yourself, maybe it's a job interview. Now here, you have to really step up, speak up for yourself. You find that you don't have the confidence because you've really built that muscle of fear, and you will not be at your best. And chances are you might even lose that opportunity. Build momentum. Take as many opportunities as you can to speak in public so that you build that muscle. And even if you make mistakes, it's okay. We can learn from them. The worst thing you can do is stop because you made a mistake. People laughed at you. You laughed together with them. Maybe ulikuwa unaongea ukangoa. You shrugged. Watu unapasua na wao na unaendelea. You make mistakes, you learn from them and keep going. And keep going. Give yourself grace to make mistakes. And so that we make sure that your voice becomes an invoice. You always speak for impact. Thank you very much. Let me see if we have any comments or questions.
Yes. Wow, I think it was a very amazing session. I'm seeing comments on the message. There's Prince.
Okay, there's Monica asking, can trauma affect your public speaking skills and how do you maneuver around it?
You are right, Monica. Trauma can affect your oratory skills because, first of all, even your ability to concentrate for a whole 20 minutes and give a straight up conversation. The ability, it can affect even your ability to memorability. It affects that. So the first thing for me is we need to deal with the trauma. Let's deal with the trauma, make sure that it's not affecting our ability to articulate even our issues. We need to deal with the trauma first. If we can deal with the trauma and it's no longer, central to our, it's no longer central. It's not bothering us. There's that if the thing bothers you every minute, you can't think straight. You can't concentrate. You keep forgetting things. So even when it comes to public speaking, you keep forgetting what to say. So you find mtu ako pale ama unasikia tu mtu amesema kikitu unashindwa hai, what is it? So we need to deal with the trauma first. Please also talk about people with neurodevelopment disorders such as ADHD. How can they work around improving their public speaking skill? First of all, I don't know if we have you have been diagnosed for this, because I've seen a trend with Kenyans. Somebody just thinks that there's something, and you say, oh, I have ADHD and what. But if you are somebody you've not been diagnosed, if you've been diagnosed, I believe you are given the right kind of medication. Don't diagnose yourself. But I'm hoping maybe you're saying that because maybe it's been diagnosed. So, and I know there's some medication or treatment that is given. But even that should not prevent, because you can be able, when you're speaking, and maybe you have some issue, maybe it's remembering, you can always write notes. Maybe you even have the liberty, you have the luxury of using a PowerPoint like this one. Yeah. Sometimes you will not have that luxury of having a laptop and presenting because of maybe the setting. So maybe you can have some notes. Yeah, you refer, maybe your first point was having a vision. And then now you can explain a vision. You can talk about the ego, you can talk about, you see? So you can always try that, but so that we make sure that it does not become a limitation at all for us being able to express ourselves.
Yes. So I think,
You're most welcome, Peter. Thank you
yes.
so much, Sam. Appreciate. Oh, thank you, Caroline. How can one use their personal story and make sure it brings the hopeful part and not pity? Because you took us to the pity part. It's okay. If the story is taking us there, that's fine. Actually, that's a story and that's your journey. Share it. Don't hide it. Because sometimes what you think is most private is also usually most common. So when you speak about it, you're actually giving me strength, you know. Now, the thing is, please don't leave us at the valley. Don't leave us at the pity, that's the challenge. Don't leave us there. And also, I want to say sometimes when you're going through something, it is wisdom to speak about it when you've already passed through it. If right now you want to speak about how you've been looking for jobs, you've been looking for jobs for the last 3 years, you're not finding, and you're speaking and you are there, chances are utatuacha na machozi because you are still there. Na hata wewe, chances are utapata hata umelia hapo because, that's where we are. Yeah. And if you're going to speak about it, make sure it's not something that affects you as you speak, because sometimes you're speaking and you find, since you're still going through it, sometimes, and in wisdom, it is much better and even more impactful to speak about something that you've gone through when you're already out of it. It's no longer a pain. It was a pain, but it's now no longer a pain. I can now speak about it freely. I've already healed. It is better that way than speaking when you're already there. Because now people know, even people who don't like, they know where to hit you. Huyu alikuwa anasema sijui nini, and you're still there, you've not healed. People know where to hit you, where it hurts. So that's the other. So I was saying, if you're going to speak about maybe where maybe you tarmacked for 3 years or for 4 years or some whatever story you have, at least let it end with hope, you know. But last year, June, but last year, now we forget the pain. We're like, oh, now we are happy. Articulation, yes, Linda. You know, we actually couldn't cover everything. I was even jumping slides, you know, because the time is really very short. But you know what, guys? We normally have a public speaking masterclass and that goes for a whole 5 weeks, but we have classes 2 times a week. You can register for the masterclass. Public speaking is a skill, and a skill takes time to build. And I'm very, very happy to work with you. You can just inbox me. I'm gonna give you details. I want to say I've also dedicated my TikTok for public speaking. If you check Sarah Muni on TikTok, it's just about public speaking. Like, it's a whole public speaking university. So please connect, follow, engage with me there. I'm on social media big time, big time. On Facebook, Sarah Muni, the life coach, IG, Instagram, Sarah Muni, LinkedIn, Sarah Muni, FIIM. I mean, you're just gonna see my face. You call YouTube. Please engage with me. Next time, talk about articulation. Yes, eloquence. How do you master eloquence and articulation? Because sometimes, um, you know, when you are eloquent and articulate, you are more interesting to listen to. Or where to get this next time? Okay, Sasa, yeah, that's what I was saying, Prince. You can just check my TikTok. Yeah, you can check my TikTok, Sarah Muni. Yeah, and I'm sure also JCVs are going to be organizing many more of such trainings. Yeah. But for me personally, you can follow me on my social pages. Oh yeah, Kajo, you're saying ethos, pathos, and logo. So this is how you get to, we call it the psychology of influence in public speaking. The ethos, these are Greek words. Ethos is how you use your credibility, your experience, your expertise to build influence. Pathos is how you use your emotions to influence people. How do we use emotions? Maybe through storytelling, yeah, and or through imagery, the tone. That's pathos. How do you use emotions to influence an audience? And the logos. Logos is how do you use reason? You need to reason out with the audience. For example, you're asking people, so guys, if you are given this option and this option, where would unachagua gani? It's like the way I was saying the president asked, sasa mkiulizwa mnataka wale wa kupiga porojo ama wale wanaleta maendeleo, mtasema ni? You see, now of course people are gonna say, it's like you're reasoning out with the people. Now for me as the audience, I feel like, yeah, you know, you've given me an opportunity to think, to use my brain. Of course, I'll say maendeleo, but I feel like you give me that limit and we are reasoning out. Wewe hata kama ni wewe Caroline, kama ni wewe ungepewa ile, ungechagua gani? Now I'm letting you reason out, and now what you're gonna do is that you're gonna own up this conversation. So these are some very, very good tools when it comes to building influence, and we teach them in the psychology of influence in public speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So seeing that, yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate. Please follow, comment, engage on my social pages. I'm really so grateful, Sheila, for the invite. I really appreciate. Have a good night. God bless you. See you next time.
Okay, I think before we just wind up, there is a Joe whose hand was raised up. Maybe we can just pick
yeah.
question.
Oh my God. Please go ahead and mute.
Yeah, and maybe Sarah can just drop your details on the comment section. So how can guys reach you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, just a moment. Let me give you my.
Yes, I think Ajao, you can just unmute your mic and tell us.
You can reach out to me. That's my WhatsApp number. Thanks so much, Edgar. I really appreciate it.
Is Aja in the room?
Sorry?
Ajao, I think he wanted to ask a question. I think we have lost him, but I'm seeing so much love on this topic, and people want you again. Of course,
Ah,
we'll
my God, eh?
we need to organize another one, another part two.
Yes, why
Yeah.
not?
Yes, so we'll organize, and so be on the lookout when we'll be having Sarah, but I don't want to take so much time. So thank you so much, Sarah. We really, really, really appreciate. Very insightful. I think I've picked one, two, three things I did wrong at the beginning, and I think as we continue, let's put into practice what we have learned today, and then when we meet next time, we can share some of the things we did and what challenges we faced while presenting um, what we were doing. So thank you so much again to Sarah.
Bye.
And also, this could not happen without our audience. So we do not take it for granted. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for even staying up to now. We do not take it for granted. So we've been told we need to take up opportunities. So maybe we can get a volunteer to close us off with a word of prayer. Anyone?
You know, this is public speaking. These are the opportunities we said, take them.
Yeah,
Take
run.
them. Hmm?
Anyone?
Maybe Monica can.
Okay, Monica, feel free to open the
Nakuchokoza Monica, I'm sorry.
mic.
Monica Evia.
Yes, I think I can.
Okay.
I believe we are told to be confident. So I think I'll pray. So let's believe and pray. Dear Almighty, we thank you for this session that you've had. Thank you for everything that you've taught. You've been taught by our speaker, Sarah, King of Glory. We pray that whatever we've been taught